Thank you. Well, welcome to Live on Kerr. So this is a really exciting night for us. Exciting because you're here, exciting because we can be together, and because this is live. It's so great for us to be able to celebrate together and to be in person, and I can tell you there's a lot that we have to celebrate. So this is our opportunity to share what's happening at Kerr Street, the progress we've made, to share our hearts, and to share a big thank you to you guys. So thank you. For those that I haven't met, my name is Gary O'Neill, and I'm the Executive Director at Kerr Street Mission, and I'll be your MC for tonight. So when I was in the lobby, and as I look around, I think about all the people that are here and that I've seen, and I think about people that haven't been able to make it tonight because of conflicts or other reasons. Yeah, I thought about the hockey game. We're either going to win and there's more games, or we're going to lose and we don't want to see it. So that's not me. But when I think about the people and how, they come every day to Kerr Street Mission and love groceries, love food, from a truck to the warehouse, from outside fridge to the market. I think of others who come early, a couple times a week, to make and serve snacks for the kids, or to make a community meal. And then everyone pitches in and cleans up the mess, and takes out garbage, and cuts up cardboard, and do dishes, all without any fanfare. And then we had some student placements this year. They come as part of their course requirements, but they end up doing so much more. I think of a couple of our particular students, talented students. They're working with our children and youth staff. And one Friday night, when the kids, as part of a basketball program, got to go to another location to play a competitive game, these students showed up on their own time because they wanted to see the kids play and they wanted to cheer them on. We have community leaders here and elected officials here. They're incredibly busy people, yet they find time to come to events like this. They check in with me because they care and because they want to see that those in our community are looked after. And then there's the donors. We have a donor that faithfully gives $10 a month, and that $10 is a big sacrifice for them. But they want to contribute, they want to make that donation to help, and they do it month after month. I think of our largest donors, some who have been giving for over 10 years. They're always there. They're always looking for ways to support the community, always encouraging others to give, always encouraging me. We have a community group that stepped up during COVID, and then they continued to give, even though they were struggling. I think of the couple that purchased thousands of dollars worth of clothing and bedding. We ended up working with them to do a special giveaway for the families. And families were overwhelmed by it and blessed by it. Sorry. Now I think of a corporate leader here tonight who pushed to get a significant sponsorship approved for one of our events. We have others that have championed Kerr Street Mission at their company. Right? The support is amazing. And it is the reason why we've been able to respond to the growing needs in our community. So one of my favorite lines is, Kerr Street Mission is the community caring for the community. And that really is the truth. I want to say on behalf of the staff and our board, a big thank you to our volunteers, to our donors, for the love and compassion that you guys show. Your generosity. Every single time we've had a big dream or a conviction to do better or to do more, whether it be for kids in the community or families that come to us desperate for help, you've helped. You've given generously, your time, your money, or both. And again, I can speak on behalf of the staff and the board and say a huge thank you. We so appreciate you. We appreciate the trust you put in us. We appreciate the faithful support. Your generosity, it's been amazing and inspiring. Your love and compassion is a reason to celebrate. So I'm going to ask everyone, if you can, to stand up with me for a minute. I want us to celebrate each other. That's how I want to start tonight. I want to hear you hoot and holler, and I want to hear you make noise as we celebrate the care and the community of support that Kerr Street Mission is able to provide, because it really is you guys. So that's the way to start the evening. So one of my favorite things to do is a tour. It's good for people to see the facility. It's good for people to hear what we've learned over the years, how it's shaped our thinking, how it's evolved our programming and services. And people always tell me they appreciate hearing our passion for what we do and what we need to do. It always gets me fired up and it always gets me emotional, because there are so many needs in the community. Thankfully, we can make a difference, and we are making a difference, and you're going to hear some of those stories later. So I wish all of you could come and for a tour. If you haven't been in a couple of years, which is almost all of you because of COVID, it's time to plan a visit. Because again, there are lots of changes, lots of improvements, and lots of stories to share. So for tonight, since we can't all go, we want to give you a chance to see and hear a little bit of it, and see and hear from some of our amazing staff. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm so glad you could join us for this virtual tour. I'm not going to have the time to tell you the stories I would normally tell on a tour, so the invitation's open for you to come and visit in person. But for today, we're going to be able to show you a glimpse of the facility. You'll have a chance to meet some of the staff and hear a little bit more about the programming. So come on, let's go inside.
Welcome to Kerr Street Mission. My name's Jenna. I'm the front desk supervisor. My team are the first group of staff that people see when they come into the building. We try to greet everyone with a warm welcome and smile.
Down this hall is our family service office, dining hall, and food market.
Hi, I'm Michelle, manager of family services. I have the privilege of meeting individuals and families and assessing their needs so that we can get them connected into care, the programs and the services that they need.
My name is John, and I'm the Debt Center Manager with Christians Against Poverty with KSM. I've met many families who are overwhelmed with the burden of debt. I've seen how getting rid of their debt is really life-changing for them. In the last 12 months, 46 families have come to us with overwhelming debt, and currently 18 families are fully engaged in the process of eliminating over $750,000 in personal debt.
Hi, I'm Paula, and I lead the Neighbor Care Network. The goal of the initiative is to rally service providers from the community and volunteers from our participating churches to help families and individuals who are in distress. We call them neighbors, and when they seek our help, they are feeling hopeless and desperate. So we come alongside them to provide practical help and support that empowers them to improve their situation. Thanks to our supporters, the impact that we are making in their lives is life-changing. And our neighbors are so grateful. They can't thank me enough. But really, I'm not the one helping them. You are. So on their behalf, thank you so much.
Hello, my name's Callum. I'm the Director of Operations at Kerr Street Mission. This is the main area of activity for our community meals and our food market. This is Cass, our custodian. He is a really busy guy. He spends a lot of time making sure that our building is in perfect shape for our programming here at Kerr Street. Food programming is a very important part of what we do here at Kerr Street. We've invested a lot of time, energy, and resources into our program, and we are considered best in class.
Hi everyone, welcome to Kerr Street Market. This place is actually serving more than 800 individuals each week right now. The market is open 9 times a week. On top of that, we have a group of volunteers that comes in, pack and deliver food to over 100 families in the community that cannot shop in person. To run all the markets and assemble all the packages, we actually need more than 80 volunteers each week to do all the job. We are so blessed and grateful for all the time and efforts they put into this place. Without them, this would not be possible. For our Choose Fresh program, we purchase proteins and produce to make sure each family has enough food throughout the month. Purchasing is the only way that we can guarantee consistent supplies of food for the families that depend on us. Every day, we hear amazing stories about how this program has changed people's lives. As of today, 282 families have registered with us and benefit from this amazing program. So thank you.
Our team works hard to make sure the fridges and shelves are stocked for every market. We're committed to offering a consistent and dependable supply of items for every client. It's important that people know what will be available when they come to shop every week. A lot has changed over the last few years. Now 75% of what we offer is fresh food: vegetables, fruits, meat, and protein.
Welcome to the KSM Kitchen. We not only have 9 markets per week, but we also have 5 community meals every week. With the help of volunteers and staff, approximately 15,000 meals were prepared and distributed in the past 12 months, as well as over 7,000 healthy and delicious soups that were prepared by Eric Mock from Janina Soup Company right here in our kitchen. Our main focus is providing healthy meals, but also creating community. The connections and sense of belonging is an important part of those we serve.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Welcome to our warehouse. It's a bit of a tight fit, but it does the job okay right now, only we need an off-site location to store our goods. So we've had a generous and compassionate landlord giving us a discount for our sorting center, where volunteers and staff help to sort our goods, where they're brought back here on a weekly basis. Then more volunteers and co-op students, which we rely on, come and stock our market shelves with all of these milk crates of goods. It's a pretty labor-intensive job, but people are giving and we're desperately thankful for them.
Hi, my name's Alex, and my role here at Kerr Street is focused on our Kids Club program. We work hard to bring kids the chance to engage in opportunities and activities they wouldn't otherwise be able to try. Things like dance, art, cooking, baking, robotics, taekwondo, and more.
Welcome to our youth center. This is the main area of activity for our youth and children. During the summer, we run 3 programs: day camp, youth camp, and leaders in training program. There are so many children that use these programs each week that we use almost every room in the whole building. During the day, this room is used by the Halton District School Board. It's a high school. It's for students who have struggled in a regular high school environment. After school, we use it for kids clubs, our youth programs, our Kerr Street Wear, our Girls Connected programs. It's a great place for the kids to hang out.
Hey, I'm Kyle, and I'm one of the coordinators for our Kids Club and our youth development programs here at Kerr Street Mission. We're so blessed to have this gym space here where we can offer the kids and youth so many different opportunities that they might not have otherwise. During our summer programs, we use it for different camp activities. We've had magic shows in here, animal shows, even inflatables in here. During the school year, we use it for tons of different sports programs. The big hit is our basketball program that we run each year, where the kids get a chance to come out, have practices, be a part of a team, and play games against other teams from Oakville and Mississauga. It's just such a blessing to have this amazing space.
I hope you've enjoyed this quick tour. I'm so glad that you got to meet so many of our staff. This is a great group of people that care deeply about the people that we serve. Their commitment and their dedication is absolutely amazing, and it's such a privilege for me to work with them every day. Now, I wish you could have met our volunteers. We have an army of volunteers, and they come and they do incredible things. They are as much a part of Kerr Street Mission as the Kerr Street Mission staff. And not only do they come and faithfully help us with tasks that need to be done, but they do special things that care for others in amazing ways. They really do inspire me every day. And our donors. What can I say about the generosity of our donors? It's been greater and more than I would have ever expected. The support that we provide for the community is because of the generosity of the donors and the generosity that comes from this community. It's enabled us to expand and grow as the needs in the community have expanded and grown. You know, together, staff, volunteers, and donors, they make Kerr Street Mission Oakville's mission of hope. Again, I hope you enjoyed the tour.
So what you've just seen, what KSM has been able to become, the help that we as a community have been able to provide for our neighbors in need, it's amazing. And that's because of all of you. It's your love and compassion that makes it all possible. You know, whenever we plan these shows, it's always such a struggle because there's so many things we could talk about. But tonight when I thought about it, I thought I really want you to hear more about our child and youth development work. So I've invited our team, so Tim, Kyle, and Alex to come up. So Tim has been leading our efforts in this area. For the last 10 years, Tim and I have talked about connecting and investing in children and youth. We're passionate about developing young people. We've wrestled with what help is really needed. How can we maximize our impact? So we've talked about the importance of giving kids opportunities and putting them in situations where they can develop. We've tried different things to figure out how to encourage them and how to lead their development and growth. It's not about one semester. It's not about one program solution. More is required to help them and to help them improve the trajectory of their life and their families' lives. So Tim, Kyle, and Alex, thank you guys for your passion and your commitment to the young people in our community. We are extremely fortunate to have these three. All three of them have great experience. They've been incredibly dedicated to KSM and to our kids. And really, it's a blessing to have them on staff, and it's a blessing to have them here tonight. So, I'm having trouble with this. Should have practiced more. So can you guys explain the setup of Kerr Street Mission's children and youth programming and how the programs are linked and how they build upon each other?
Very happy to tell you about the way we've set up our programs. At KSM, all our kids and our youth programming is continuous. This means that we now have programs running for children and youth for all ages 5 all the way through high school, for every season. Programs for kids 5 to 10 in our kids clubs and youth ages 14 and up, called Youth Connected, and they run in the fall, in the winter, in the spring, and in the summer. Our new kids club program that started this year, which Alex leads, runs different activities every season, like art, play-based learning programs, sports and games. It runs 3 days a week from September to June. Every season has a new group of kids, new programs, and new program partners. Youth Connected, which is led by Kyle, is our youth program for young people grades 6 and up. We have drop-ins and special times for programs that appeal to different youth and their interests, like basketball, Girls Connected programs, and even youth dinners. From what we started 5 years ago, we've now implemented as a school year program called our Leadership and Training Program. It's for high school students, and each season they can sign up to be a part of our kids clubs, where they volunteer and take part in bi-weekly training sessions. This they discuss leadership skills, they build their self-confidence, and we invite community leaders to share their experience with them. And in the summer, we have the same 3 programs running consecutively for 8 weeks of exciting summer fun. All this is to explain what this is a long-term development plan for kids and youth, and it starts at the age of 5 and goes all the way through high school and even beyond. We know that to develop kids, it takes time. And for us to have the greatest success, to raise healthy, confident, and content children and youth, we need them to be around positive, caring people in a positive, caring environment for as long as possible, for as much as possible, and for as many years possible. These programs, Kids Club, Youth Connected, our LIT program, is a developmental ladder. Kids might start, they connect with us in a summer camp, maybe at kids clubs, and as they get older, they join our Youth Connected program, and eventually they get into high school and need their volunteer hours, and we plug them into our LIT program in the fall, winter, and summer. And it's from this that we start to then invest in them. We then offer them our LIT's employment. We offer them jobs in our programs and in our summer program as camp staff. And what better, right, to have as the people leading your camp as the kids who used to be campers themselves, as Kerr Street kids themselves. Some of our summer staff were once KSM kids and youth, and now they're in their university years and they've been working with us for years. Now they're an example to our younger KSM kids for them to look up to aspire to be like, to follow in their footsteps, that one day they might be a camp counselor too.
So Tim has been at KSM for almost 14 years now, and he's worked with other youth organizations. He has 4 kids of his own, and lots of experience and lots of valuable learnings through this process. And so it's wonderful to have him at the helm and to see what he's done with this program. So tell us about the philosophy and approach for children and youth development, and how has that, your experiences sort of directed and shaped the program?
Yeah. We have built the KSM Children and Youth Program around what we call the Child and Youth Developmental Framework. Research has shown that kids and youth have 4 core areas of growth. And when they all develop together, these 4 develop together, then the self, the core self of kids and youth grows up healthy. And we address this by offering specific programs that meet these 4 core developmental areas. We plan and run programs that meet physical development. This is not just physical or activity or games or exercise. This encompasses nutrition and healthy life habits. You know that there's some kids in our program that actually stay up late, sometimes even to 6 o'clock in the morning playing video games? How is that a healthy habit? How can you be functional for school the next day on 2 hours sleep? How can you think straight? How can you feel well when your physical development is behind? And that's some of the things we address. We also have a social development programs like our Youth Drop-ins, because being around people and learning social skills is so important. Every young person needs to feel connected. And having a place to belong, having a place to contribute to is key if we are to help reduce mental health issues and self-esteem issues that are rising in our young people today. Cognitive development. This is known, I think, by every parent and teacher in this room. You ever tried to help your kids with their homework? Learning and helping kids want to learn is one of our program goals this year. One of our Kids Club's days is actually given specific attention to this, where we try to make learning fun with STEM activities, reading clubs, offering extra tutoring. We know, I know, that parents and teachers need extra help in helping their kids not only do well in their school, but develop necessary reading and learning skills. For kids and youth to be whole, we need to address their emotional and spiritual well-being. The best way that we can develop kids and youth at their emotional core is to surround them with caring adults and a positive peer group. Kids and youth need to know that they are loved and cared for. In everything we do, it is our top priority that our kids and youth know that through our actions, through our words, and through the programs we offer, that we love them, that we care about them, that we want the best for them, that we are their #1 fans. We strive to build a community and a staff of volunteers and partners who won't give up on them, are committed to giving each and every one of them a safe space to grow, to learn, to make mistakes, ask questions, be themselves, and to be served. In a practical and evident way, they will feel and see the love of God that He gives us that we can extend to them. So, every program that we offer with kids clubs, youth connected, PA day events, summer programs, they all exist to provide a wide range of core developmental experiences that speak to the physical, the social, the cognitive, and the emotional, spiritual development and well-being of every kid and youth who comes to Kerr Street Mission.
Andrew told me a story today of a kid who's a little bit older and he hasn't been around for a while and he got himself in a little bit of trouble. And the first thing he did was come back. And he knew he would be accepted. And then his mom came later and Tim and her had a conversation. And she told of a really difficult situation that's happening at home and just started to cry. And again, to be there in that situation, what a privilege and a blessing. And what a blessing to have Tim. You guys, no, I did it again. Right. So you guys have worked so hard to bring in partners and to give kids different opportunities to learn and develop. So tell us about some of the activities that they're getting to experience now and participate in.
As Tim put so well and so powerfully, our heart and our desire here at Kerr Street within the facet of our programming that pertains to kids and youth, our heart is to really address the whole child and to see holistic development occur. And we've been afforded such a unique opportunity to do that through the facility that we have at Kerr Street, through the staff team that we have here, through the three of us and our amazing colleagues who support us in so many ways, and also in large part thanks to our volunteer base. I know there are many of you here in the audience tonight who play integral roles in actually making sure our kids' clubs are running and functioning, and snack is cooked, and dishes are cleaned, and tables are set up, and crafts are prepared. So we have quite a unique opportunity to address these 4 areas of development that Tim has talked about. And we've actually, as he mentioned, worked this into the way that we structure our program. So we offer kids programming 3 days a week throughout the year in the fall, winter, and spring semester. And we've actually taken those 3 days and kind of picked out 3 of those development areas and focused our programming on that. So on Mondays, we offer programming that gives kids an opportunity to really lean into and embrace their creativity. And that doesn't just look like doing crafts and art, although that is part of what we do. We really want to encourage kids to explore creativity in a multitude of ways. So we have cooking and baking, creativity in the kitchen, have them cooking meals for their family, going home and showing their parents the new dishes they can make. We have creativity, we have dance and drama, partners who are coming in and delivering different opportunities for kids to engage in expressing themselves throughout a number of mediums. And so Mondays has been a really unique opportunity to see kids who have an inclination towards that creative thinking and that artist side of them. It's been really awesome to see them lean into that. On Wednesdays, like Tim mentioned, we focus on cognitive development. And this can be a bit harder because we don't want it to feel like school. So sometimes trying to get kids to engage in learning and make learning exciting, if you're a parent or a teacher, you know this can be a challenge. But we've had some amazing opportunities to bring in like robotics, STEM programming, mad science, crazy science experiments, and really cool ways for kids to get excited about learning with a particular emphasis on literacy. We know that kids' ability to read and write at a young age and to really invest in their reading and writing skills is really critical to their cognitive development overall and serves them well. So reading buddies and reading programs is another really fun way that we're able to encourage our kids to get their minds working and their brains excited about thinking and learning and growing. And then on Fridays, we have the opportunity to let the kids explore their physical fun and to run around in the gym and play soccer. We have basketball, we have soccer, different organizations that have been coming in and helping us deliver athletic programming for kids, but also how can we integrate play into our programming. Just letting kids have the opportunity to come and have fun and laugh and set aside whatever situations they're coming from and whatever situations they're heading home to, and just be present and be able to enjoy that time. So woven throughout all of this is our desire to see kids flourish socially. And we know in a post-COVID world more than ever that we are designed to be connected and designed to be in community. And this is a skill that so many of our kids are lacking in, and an area where they need exposure to and they need modeling in how do they interact with one another, how do they engage meaningfully, what are social norms and rules, how do you behave. So throughout all 3 of our program days, it's been such a cool opportunity to see kids come out of their shells, build meaningful relationships, have such an incredible group of volunteers and student placements and high school leaders model what it looks like to interact and to be friends and to communicate well. And so it's been such a privilege to see our kids this year really come out of their shells and jump into this new model of programming and really develop. We've been seeing that happen really meaningfully. So thank you guys.
And then I just want to touch a little bit on what's been going on with our youth programming, because we have a ton of amazing opportunities there as well for our youth. So we have different drop-ins that we run throughout the week where any of our students from grades 6 to 12, they get to come in, hang out, really just give them a place where they can socialize, where they can hang out, have a ton of fun and build relationships in a positive environment, because we know that's so important for their development. With that, we also run different programs throughout the year. You know, we have sports programs that we run like basketball, and we just started up our soccer program. These are so important for kids because being a part of a team is just an amazing way to develop as a leader and as friends and socially and physically and all of these things. And we know that sports can be really expensive, so we want to offer sports programming in a way that's accessible for our families, regardless of finances or whatever's going on at home. We want to give them a chance to still be a part of sports. We had, just back in February, we had our placement students run a program called Kerr Street Mission. This is our 2nd year running that, and it's an amazing program where youth get to come in and actually get to go through the process of designing their own clothing line. So we actually had a former youth come out, and he's actually here tonight, but he came out and he helped out. He was a youth with us for years back in the day, and he came out and said, you know, Kerr Street had such a huge impact on me, I want to give back. So he came in, helped these kids design a clothing line, helped them design their own shirts and sweatshirts and clothing items with messages that they wanted to share about stuff that they're passionate about things that impact them on the daily, things that they think about, and now they had a chance to express those in their own ways. And that was just such an amazing opportunity to offer for these youth. And that's really what we want to do, is give these youth opportunities that they might not otherwise have, that everyone should have the ability to be a part of, regardless of where you're at in life, where you're at financially, with your family, whatever. We want to give youth a chance where they get to experience everything that anyone would get to experience.
Tim and I have talked about this for a long time. It's one thing to come up with something that you know kids need, but getting them to come and getting them to engage and participate is something different. And there's been other youth centers that we've had calls from Mississauga, from Toronto, from Oakville as well, who said, how are you getting kids to come? And so these guys are getting kids to come and they're getting them to participate. So what have you observed happening in the kids? What kind of results are you seeing? What signs and indicators of their development and maturity are you seeing?
I was asking all of our placement students in LIT today. I was like, oh, which kid should I highlight? What story should I share? And the truth is there are so many. And for the three of us and our placement students and our LITs who've been part of this whole year, one of the biggest indicators of development that we've seen is just the way that our kids are working together. And the way that they're really rallying around one another and supporting one another. Today we had a young boy in our program whose family recently came to Canada on refugee status from the Ukraine. And he has next to no English, and can only imagine what his day-to-day experience is like for him. Constantly overwhelmed and surrounded by a language he doesn't understand and things he doesn't understand, and at the age of 7 processing things that no 7-year-old should have to be processing. And it's been incredible. He had there's a bit of a disagreement or misunderstanding between two kids today during snack, and he started getting quite visibly upset. And as I got up from my chair to go and check in on him and see if he was doing okay, I saw 4 of our older boys who are in grade 4 and grade 5 come around him and put their arms around him and rub his back, and in broken English and like charades, trying to say to him, what's wrong? Is it okay? It's okay. You know, we're friends. High five, giving him hugs. And through the communication barriers, the language barriers, they weren't really able to understand what was wrong, but you know, they sat there with him, and I watched one of our older boys who has become quite an incredible leader over this last year. From one of our most test my patience children to one of my right-hand people. I call on this kid all the time because he's grown into such an incredible kid. I just watched him sit there and rub this little boy's back and say, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, and rub his back. And they sat there with him for about 10 minutes. And even though they could not communicate with words, so much was communicated with their care. And so just to see those kind of relationships form between our kids, the ways that they are attentive to one another and nurturing and supportive, and their desires to really just rally around one another in love, that's an encouragement. I think that's a really, really beautiful thing to see, and it's a really powerful thing to be able to be a part of. So that's been a really cool opportunity.
And I had to think about how I was going to follow up that story, so thanks. But no, I think, you know, when I think about the youth program and think about the way we've seen development, really the thing that comes to the front of my mind is our basketball program that we run. We run a basketball program with an organization called FCA, and they run the program at a few different locations around Ontario. And, you know, it's just incredible to see for our guys, for the players that are a part of the team. You know, there's players that they wouldn't be on a basketball team anywhere else. They're not the most talented, but they love the sport, they love being there, and just being able to see, you know, the players that have some natural ability, that are a little bit better, are a little bit more developed in their basketball skill, and seeing them give a chance for these players that might not have a chance elsewhere, just seeing them have a chance to be a part of a team, to get to go out there, to get to play in a competitive, fun environment where they're playing against another team, where they get to be as a team, win as a team, lose as a team. Fortunately, we win more as a team than we lose as a team, so that's always nice. But you know, just getting to see these youth be out there and encouraging each other and building each other up and giving opportunities to each other to take that shot or to, you know, have a chance to mess up and learn from it. And it's just been incredible to see the way some youth have stepped up as leaders within the team. And yeah, it's just been incredible to see that through our sports programs.
You know, there was one day I went down to our dining hall and the kids were there, the younger kids were there, and the LITs. And there was a new kid, he was maybe 7, I think. And they were taking a break to go get snack. And as they were walking to the snack, the LIT, 15 years old, was standing there. And this little 7-year-old reaches up and holds his hand. And the 15-year-old looked down, kind of wondering what he should do, but he held on. And the little boy looked up at him and smiled. And I thought to myself, I wonder what that little boy's life is like, that he wants to hold the hand of a 15-year-old. And isn't it amazing that 15-year-old held his hand and showed him just love in that simple gesture? It's such a privilege. So we have a video that gives a little bit of an indication of the impact of these programs, and we want you to hear it from the kids themselves.
Hi, I'm Tim Moore. I'm the Child and Youth Program Manager here at Kerr Street Mission. Why don't we take some time to listen to some of the kids who come to our program?
Hi, my name is Dalit, and what I like most about Kerr Street is that I get to hang out with my friends, and the snacks are really good, and I love to play sports.
My name is Alexander, and my favorite thing at Kerr Street would probably be playing sports, and I like playing sports in the gym with my friends.
I love playing games with my friends. It's an enjoyable experience.
I like learning new things and new sports.
It's just pretty fun to be here, and I enjoy the people here, and it really makes me happy.
The most fun trip is when we went to this water park. We went there 3 times, and it was very fun because I got to hang out with my summer counselors and my friends.
I think I would say that my favorite field trip was going to the pool because it was just really fun. Just splashing in the water and just jumping in.
My favorite field trip was Wet n Wild because it was my first time going to a water park, and there were lots of big rides that were really enjoyable. I loved going to the ice rink because it was fun to just skate around and have fun.
I like coming to Kerr Street Mission because the snacks are great and they put a smile on my face.
Tim and Kyle are very good coordinators, and they're very fun and funny and creative in what we do every day.
Each day we just do something different, and I just want to learn more things about Kerr Street.
At Kerr Street here, the people who work here and do their things here and plan out our activities make this place a fun place. It's a fun and enjoyable place. We get to go to the gym, play sports, upstairs, playing video games, and we have snack, dinners on Friday. Yeah, you're missing out on all of that.
I got connected with Kerr Street Mission when I started coming here for camp. I was around 8 years old. I just moved to Oakville from Toronto, so it was a good way for me to make friends and stuff like that.
I started coming to Kerr Street Mission in grade 9. I was actually showed by my friend Tyrese, who was one of the early people in the program. And he just showed me because it had a basketball court, and I used to really like basketball. So it was a really good opportunity to come play and just just chill, just have good vibes only. And it was just like a home away from home in a sense. So that was the best part about it.
I just finished up a 5th year of high school, came back to get better at sports, get better in school, get some better marks, get some marks up, and I'm planning on going to SMU. I made the decision to sign my commitment letter to SMU here because I started playing sports here, So I don't think that I would be in the position that I am right now with football if I didn't get the footwork and all that stuff that I learned playing basketball in the gym downstairs, After all these years, even when I walked back in after a couple years of not being here, it felt the exact same, it felt like home. The second I stepped in, everyone was so quick to welcome me. One thing that I would tell the kids that want to come to Kerr Street Mission is that this place is a good place to learn, A lot of the opportunities that I have right now is because of here.
Kerr Streetwear was essentially just a program where kids get to learn how to create streetwear. They get how to know how to design and kind of find a creative outlet in the form of clothing. And then when they found out I do fashion, they just asked me if I could come in as a guest speaker. The goal was to help the kids create their own designs, I guess. A good opportunity just to express yourself and just get some cool clothes, look cool.
The people here, they really care about you. They care about helping you make the right decisions, and anytime I've needed to ask Tim for something, anytime I've come in, he's always been eager to help, He wants to help anyone that he can, he's a really good person like that.
Kerr Street has helped a lot. I can't even begin to elaborate because my mom used to come here and get food and stuff because we lived right there, and we had just moved to the country, so I didn't know anyone. I didn't really have too many friends, but coming to Kerr Street is ton of friends. There's a ton of people you can speak to. I feel like it's the most it's a nurturing environment. Like when I was younger, you don't really see, but you start to see like how much supervisors really care and they really want to see the kids excel in all these programs, all these things. You start to see like they're like parents almost, like just trying to give you the best you can at Kerr Street, you know. Kerr Street's a community, and because it's simply just like a family, everyone is helping each other. And I really felt that way because every person I know who was here can always come back and always feel that feeling of like joy, just being here. I don't know, it just feels comfortable. You never stress. Just home away from home.
I just want to say thank you to all the donors and everyone who's helping Kerr Street Mission. Without you guys, I wouldn't be at the position I am. And it's because of you that there are going to be plenty more people just like me and Elijah and Keenan and Selena, all those people, just because of you guys. So I just want to thank you.
It's so good to see these kids engaged and having fun when they're at KSM. Right, to hear about the impact KSM has had on them, to know that it's the same for so many more. Right, to know these kids are doing well because of the time with Tim and his team. So I have one last question for Tim. So when you think of youth today, what concerns you the most? And what do you think we need to do to make a difference?
Well, that's a very big question. You might need to sit down for that one. Well, Kerry, if I was to sum up what concerns me the most when working with kids and youth today, I think I can sum it up in one word: influence. Who and what our young people are influenced by greatly affects their choices that they make. When we are influenced by negative people, chances are we'll make unhealthy choices. And when we are influenced by positive people, well, chances are that we'll make healthy choices. Positively influenced youth can achieve greatness, despite any hardship, setback, or family background that they've come from. Negative influences lead kids to apathy, poor health, substance abuse, laziness, or what they call failure to launch, and sometimes even trouble with the law. We've seen that all at Kerr Street. We are all influenced by what we're around and what we listen to. The roadblocks and the highways to positively influencing young people are directly connected to the actions of the people that are around us and the voices that we listen to. Kids and youth today are bombarded with the voices. Voices from everywhere, all commanding and competing for their immediate attention. Telling them what they need to do, telling what they need to buy, telling them what's missing in their lives, telling them what's wrong, telling what they need to do, telling what they need to become or need to be in order to feel normal, in order to feel happy, or in order to feel loved. And the rise of instant and always available technology is rapidly removing the personal connections that these kids and youth desperately need to develop healthy lives. Digital dependency is robbing them of not only their ability to concentrate for long periods of time, but more importantly, an online connection is a false connection, and it lacks any depth or substance. You know, you can have several youth in one room, all on their devices, and they're talking to each other through their phones. Youth, they don't need to come to a place anymore to be with their friends. They can just go home, jump online, anywhere they are. You know, during our Christmas program, Gary, so for those who don't know, in our Christmas Wonders program, we have a toy giveaway. And so I thought I would be a real nice guy, and I thought, well, let's ask some of the kids what they would like for Christmas, and then I will take some of those toys that we get, I'll put them aside, and we'll give it out to them on the last day of program as a Christmas present. So I asked a few of these 7 and 8-year-olds what they wanted for Christmas, and you know what they said? Cell phone. We laughed, but it's a cell phone. They all wanted a cell phone. The problem isn't that every kid wants a cell phone. That's not the problem. Because when I was young, technology was big. Technology will always be enjoyed, and technology can be used in great ways. But unsupervised and unchecked digital dependency is removing kids' desire to connect to real people in real time and in real world activities. And I believe this will be and is a youth development crisis and will only get worse as kids detach more from real world activities and relationships and jump more into digital ones. Kids don't need to go to youth programs anymore because all their friends are connected through screens. And it's the personal connections that make all the difference. When KSM is a voice that helps to influence what our young people are facing, then we can help to divert them, to correct them, maybe even change them, even when they make a poor choice. And they will make a poor choice, make a poor decision. When they get into trouble, when they make the mistake, there's that voice in the back of their head that speaks to them and tells them, you can go back to Kerr Street. They can help. At Kerr Street, they are accepted and loved. There's people who believe in them and will help them work towards a better future. And that's our program's desire, to be a voice in the wilderness that gives our kids and young people a place and a space to help them connect and grow. Awesome.
When I talk to most people, and if I said to them, what do you think Kerr Street Mission is? I would never hear back a child and youth development organization. But we are now a child and youth development organization because of the time we put into it, the trials, the errors, the learnings, the observations, because of the blessing of amazing staff like Tim and Kyle and Alex. Like what you guys are doing for these kids, the care and the community of support they're providing, it's fantastic. And I should add that, our impact is not just on low-income kids in the Kerr Street area, right? What Tim is talking about, every kid is at risk. If they get involved with the wrong influences, the wrong things, trouble comes fast. So thank you, Tim. Thank you, Kyle and Alex. So this is a quote that a donor sent me recently. So apart from being my local charity, they supported my daughter through difficult times many years ago. And I put a high value on their summer and Christmas programs. The timing of that was amazing. And it's important for us because as we're hiring for camp, we want to have a mix. We want kids that have grown up at Kerr Street Mission, that if they hadn't had the influence, they would not be responsible staff and they wouldn't be ready for a program like that. But we also want to be able to influence other kids. So other high school kids come across Oakville, university students that come back, and the mix. When some of those kids from higher income families are talking about what university they want to go to or what careers they want to do, it gets the low income kids to start dreaming and thinking about what's impossible. It really is an amazing thing. Today, we really are more equipped than we ever have been in the past. The LIT program, right? The kids that we see they're experiencing it every day and growing, it's amazing. The summer camp, it's amazing. That ladder of opportunities that Tim talked about, it's amazing. And that's what makes the difference. I don't know if you know, I think it was mentioned in one of the videos, but Kerr Street Mission is also a high school. We have a partnership with the Alton District School Board, and there's a high school in our upstairs space. The school board calls these kids in risk. They're in risk because they've struggled in the regular school environment. They're behind in credits. For a variety of reasons, their attendance is not good. Even when they come to the program, the attendance is spotty. As I said already tonight, the needs are great. So we need to continue to create opportunities and engage kids. So thank you, Tim. Thank you, Kyle and Alex. So join me in celebrating them again. Thank you to Nation student volunteers and it's amazing that they're all here together. But none of that would be possible without the support of the donors. The support for the space, the support for the programs, the support for the partners, the support for the staff. We can offer these programs and we can make a difference in the lives of kids because of the support of you guys, so thank you. So I'm going to transition quickly into family programs. So our child and youth programs, they're a big part of how we help provide for families. Right? The cost of Kids Club, the cost of the sports program in the summer, the cost of summer camp. All of these programs are subsidized. So typically the cost is $5 per day. If the kids are signed up for multiple weeks or multiple children, if the parents have multiple children, we will discount more. We want the kids at KSM. We want the chance to come alongside these kids, to invest in them, just like we would do with our own kids. Having these activities available helps the families in a number of ways. It reduces the burden, financial burden on the family, but it also reduces the burden of worry. The mental stress of the finances and the worry about the well-being of their kids takes a toll on parents, and I think most of us can understand that. Is my child safe? Who are they with? What are they doing? Are they okay? Are they going to be okay? When we see our kids doing well, socially and academically, mentally and emotionally, right? When we see them having fun, when we see them learning new skills, it's a relief, and it gives us hope. Hope that they're going to be okay, and that they will be successful, whether it be in school or careers or in relationships. Right? It gives us hope that they're going to have a good future. So we had an interesting thing happen a couple months ago. We called a donor to say thank you. The donation was $20. The very first thing the donor said was, I'm sorry. That's all I could give. So she went on to explain that she had been out of work for quite a long time. The donation came out of her very first paycheck. She then explained that she had thought about coming to Kerr Street many times as she was struggling to make ends meet. But it turned out she never did come, which was too bad because we could have really helped her. But what is interesting is why. Why did she make that donation, and how did we help when she never came? So she said to us that it was great comfort to her and safety, knowing that Kerr Street Mission was there and just down the street if she needed it. Right? It's the safety and the security that knowing that help was close at hand. Because that constant worry, the stress, the fear, that can be far more damaging than a missed meal or two. Right? The hopelessness of a situation, the thought that nothing's going to change, that can be totally devastating for someone. So in my conversations with so many people, with friends, with people I've worked with clients I've met, our desires for our kids, our hopes for them, our worries about them, the emotions we feel, somehow it's all magnified. Right? The practical help that Kerr Street Mission provides, the food, the parenting, the nutrition education, the help when people are in crisis, we give them direction, we connect them, and we advocate for them with other services. Right? And all the kids programs. There's no question that that's needed, and it's greatly appreciated. But we can't underestimate the emotional support, the friendship, the encouragement, the knowledge that someone cares and is there for you. Someone cares and is there for your kids. It makes a big difference, and it's hope-giving. So better than hearing from me, I want you to hear from one of our partners. She'll share her experience and her expertise and the difference that Kerr Street Mission has made. And then there's a mom from Ukraine with her beautiful daughters. She shares a bit of her story, and it really is amazing.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I am the manager of family services here at Kerr Street Mission. And just prior to COVID kind of opening up again, I had been talking with a friend about just her expertise in the area of parenting and really focusing on connected parenting. And a lot of moms had come to me from our Kerr Street community talking about the difficulties that they've had through COVID and being locked up with kids for a lot longer than we anticipated, and just the struggles that they were having in trying to get the kids to engage and interact with one another. And so just knowing that my friend Lenore has a fantastic background and knowledge of connected parenting, and knowing that there was a need here in our community, we met and discussed how we might be able to bring a program here at Kerr Street to be able to just give kids an opportunity to socialize and parents an opportunity to share their struggles. So, you are?
I am Lenore.
And how have you been connected to Kerr Street?
I have helped in a variety of ways. So I have volunteered for many years, and I'm now co-leading the group with you, where we're focusing on connected parenting, supporting parents with their preschool children, their babies and toddlers.
You've been doing this for a lot of years.
Yes.
But there is something different that you talked about with this group. What do you think is so different about the group that you are meeting with here at Kerr Street?
It's been astounding to me how the mothers have worked to help their children settle, how the children now get along so well, but also how the mothers support each other. If a child is crying, a mother will go. It doesn't have to be her child. If there's a disagreement about toys, it's easily settled. The mothers help, they're supportive, they're non-judgmental.
So there have been a lot of conversations between you with the moms where some of them have shared some really difficult experiences. Why do you think that they have been so comfortable here to share those things?
I think that we pray together, we pray over this group. There are women of faith and different faiths. There are women of no faith who come to this group, but God is here. And I think we can see God's hand on the group. We can see the peace that our time together seems to evoke as a group. We can see exceptional circumstances where there are sharing of stories and no fear of judgment, and that we honor each of you as the person that you are. We know that it isn't an easy journey to parent through pain, through suffering, through abuse, through addiction, and yet time and again we hear stories of success.
I just want to thank you for being here for them. You have been amazing at, as each mom shares every week, you always leave them with a word of encouragement about something that they've shared. Regardless of how difficult their story is that you've been, you can pick a nugget of something to just leave them with a word of encouragement each week as they leave. So I want to thank you for being here every week and walking with these moms through their journey.
And I thank you for the opportunity, because like so many things that are God-given experiences, we recognize in the midst of it that it's really not about the people we're working with, it's about us. And I leave this ministry, I leave this place every week grateful that God's revealed himself and that we are in relationship, not just with each other, but with the community of parents that we get to spend time with.
Zhenya was one of the first families that arrived from the Ukraine and made it to the doors of Kerr Street. So I remember meeting her for the very first time and just how lovely she was and how willing she was from the very beginning to provide help and support to us. So she was someone who we ran to constantly as new families would arrive because her English is fantastic, and so she was able to help us translate with families that were coming through the doors over and over and over again. And I think she's probably committed as many hours helping us do translations and communicating information to families, probably more hours than anybody else that we've ever turned to over the years to be able to help translate. So
thanks. We came to Canada about a year ago in the end of April. Well, I lived without my husband for 8 months, and in Canada we've been almost 7 months. The hardest thing to lose was family and all the connections, especially because it all happened so suddenly. So we didn't actually get to say goodbye to our relatives, to most of my students, to friends. It just happened, and that was the hardest. So since we came, the hardest thing here was to find a job. We know that it's easier when you know people, so we made lots of connections, and still it took quite a lot of time to find a job. And without a job in Canada, it's very tough. Also, like starting from the scratch, I knew some people here, and it really helped us that we were Christians and we found a church straight away, and I had a job part-time, but still like making lots of new connections, learning where to go to buy certain things. And it was hard. It's just different country, different way of living, and we had to learn it. Well, KSM was wonderful. It was probably one of the first places we came to because lots of people told us about KSM. And so we came first to register for the food bank, and Michelle was very helpful, and she also helped us to find a church, like making connections again. And every time we are in a line in the food bank, we meet some new people. We also were participating in Christmas Wonder, and it was tremendous help and really like lots of miracles for us and for the kids. In autumn, I think there was a program to prepare kids for school. That was really helpful. Another huge thing is the camp. Like without it, I wouldn't be able to work, and all last summer I was able to. It was something special because kids could go to places where I wouldn't be able to take them again because of the transportation and all the expenses. But they've been to Aqua Park and lots of places, and they still remember it, so we already signed up for this year. Well, we knew it about Canada, that it's a special place, and I know people are different everywhere, but for us, this is a country about paying forward, and we really experienced it. We've had so much support from school, lots of support from the church, lots of support from Safety Net and KSM. And like everywhere you go, people are just nice. Yeah, it made me cry a lot, like with happiness, because it's just a lot of kindness that we've experienced. Okay, the first wish is the war to be over, and so we can visit our family, and especially our great-grandmother for these ones. Because I don't think she'll be able to come. And also for us to get PR and to be able to work and build up life, peaceful life for our kids and us, and to be able to help and pay forward.
When I first watched that video and Xenia's eyes filled up with tears and the little girl reached up, I was a mess. Thanks that I was in my office on my own. But I am so thankful to Xenia and Lenore for their willingness to share their stories. You know, Lenore's comments are so important. We serve people of the same faith, we serve people of different faiths, and we serve people with no faith. We do our best to treat everyone the same love and compassion, the same respect, regardless of their situation, regardless of decisions they've made, the messes they found themselves in. We want everyone that comes through our doors to know that they're loved, know that they matter. We try to show in all of our actions that we care, and it will do our very best to help them. Some of you might not get the comments about praying for people, but for us it's really important. Some of our staff will gather and pray every day. We pray for wisdom, we pray for compassion, we pray for help to be able to love and to show them grace. And sometimes that can be really difficult. I could tell you a couple of situations that have just happened in the last week. I would say a very small percentage of the families we serve are like Xenia. She's a Christian. First thing she did was come to KSM. The next thing she did was connect into a church community. Most people, the truth is they have zero interest in church. They don't ask, they don't come to the church that meets in our building on Sundays. We certainly don't require it. They wouldn't think about connecting in a church, nor would they feel comfortable going to one to ask for help. But they're comfortable coming to KSM. And that's really important for them and to us. We don't want to do anything that jeopardizes that. Kerr Street Mission has to be a place where people feel welcomed, and they feel accepted, and where they know they're going to get love and help. That's what we're trying to do every day. Of course, we don't succeed every day, but most days. The effort that I see day in and day out is something that I celebrate. You know, every time I watch that video, I've also been reminded how difficult it is for families that come to Canada. They're trying to make a new life for themselves and their kids. And there is some excitement about that, but it's really hard to leave family and friends and what you know behind. What a privilege it is for us to be able to come alongside them and help. Coming to a new country, maybe it's fleeing because it's no longer safe there. Maybe it's a dream for more opportunities and a better future for the kids. But then they get here and they discover that there are so many challenges and barriers. Right? Way too many for so many families. And they're just not able to make ends meet. There are people that are educated and skilled. And there's others that come with little to no education and sometimes little to no English. There are stories of moms, sometimes dads, they've gone through separation or divorce, and they're struggling to manage. They're struggling to provide for their kids. They just can't. There are moms who have lived through abuse and are now trying to figure out how can they make a new life, a safe life for themselves and their kids. I can say with great confidence that the friendship with staff, the friendship with volunteers, the support, that security of knowing that help is close at hand, right? The comfort of knowing that people care, it is a difference maker. And it is what makes Kerr Street Mission special and different from so many other programs and services. I really do believe there's something special because of the way people come together and because of the way they embrace people. Again, I have to say a big thank you to all of you, to the staff, to the volunteers, to the donors. You are amazing. So if you've been to KSM, you may have seen this. So there are posters all around the building. It's also on the back of your program tonight. When I think of my role in leadership, this is one of the things that I'm most proud of. We call it KSM Cares. It's something we talk about all the time. It's been a guide for the recognition and the celebration of staff and volunteers through the week. For me, as a Christian leader of a Christian organization, I wanted this organization to be different, to show uncommon love. I wanted everyone to feel comfortable and welcome at KSM. Right? As leadership, I prayed and asked God to lead us and direct us. We prayed for Him to give us eyes to see and ears to hear the hurt and the pain of others. We prayed that KSM would become a beacon of love and compassion in this community. I also prayed a lot that I would be the person that God needed me to be. Again, I said we tried hard to treat everyone with the same respect as everyone else. Today we have partners like Lenore, who are Christians. We have other partners who are not, and that's great. They have valuable knowledge and insights to share, and they work so hard to help others. They always are looking for ways to help people improve their well-being because they care so deeply about others. We have staff that don't have the same faith that I have, but they're full of compassion, and they show it in so many ways. Not all of our volunteers have the same faith or belief that I have, but they demonstrate love and compassion through all the work that they do. And in their interactions, right, the care that they show for all those that come. It really is a wonderful thing to see. People, right, of all different beliefs coming together to serve and to be served. Coming together to love their neighbors. And not for our sake, but for their sake. So KSM Cares, it came from the staff. This wasn't just an aspiration of senior leadership of mine or a board from many years ago or our board from today. This is what the current staff felt described what KSM is like. And it described what they want KSM to continue to be like. For me, to see that the staff of this organization thinks we're like, to know that they think this is what we need to value and we need to strive moving forward, I can't explain how wonderful it is for me to even just have a small part in getting us here. Right? To work with so many amazing people that live KSM Cares every day, to me, that's an amazing reason to celebrate. All right, so we're out of practice. I'm out of practice with this. We're out of practice with our time. We're running a bit behind. So we're going to move to the break now. I hope you enjoyed it so far. So you can get a drink in the lobby. There's a little bit of time to chat with friends. The staff and the board members will have their name tags on so that you can identify them. When we come back, we're going to start with some special entertainment. So Jerry Hall has helped us the last 2 years with Live on Kerr and virtual. In 2021, she actually shared her personal story. And if you haven't seen it, it's still on YouTube. You can look up Live on Kerr and it will pop up. But I encourage you to watch it. Her comedy partner is Gary Pearson, and he's an Oakville resident. So we're really thankful they're here to share with us tonight and willing to be part of their show. And then after they perform, I'm going to make a few comments, give you some updates, and then I'm going to have our board chair, Mike Ryan, come up and share. So enjoy the break, and I will see you shortly. All right, thank you, Terry and Gary. So I really do appreciate you guys performing for us tonight and their flexibility. As they said, we had a chat about the content and their willingness to make changes because we realized it might be a little bit racy for this event. So, and they were great about it. So you might wonder, why? Why would we ask them if it might be racy? And there is a reason. Part is because of Jerry's past involvement, and we just thought it was appropriate, especially with their story. But there is another reason, and it's the relevance to the subject matter. You know, to really make a difference in the lives of the families we serve, it has to be about so much more than providing food. So in those sketches, we were reminded about the challenges we face when we're in a relationship, when we have kids, as we age, right? There are so many situations and so many factors that impact our marriage and relationship. And they can spill over to another, and they magnify the impact and often the damage. So I searched through some research papers, and the findings were all very similar. And here was the list of the top 5 conflicts that came up repeatedly. And it was interesting because in this paper it says every married couple faces. Not maybe, every married couple faces. Not necessarily the same order for every couple or the same magnitude, but they do impact our relationships. So most of us probably know couples that haven't made it and families that have split because of these conflicts. But you know, you think about the families we serve and the financial struggles and how that can spill over, right? And how those struggles can lead to other struggles. And so imagine constantly wondering and worrying, can we pay our rent? How will we buy food for tomorrow? How could he or she spend money on that? You know, that could simply be a coffee and a breakfast sandwich at Tim Hortons. Imagine being so tight that purchases like that could be the difference between putting food on the table or having enough rent, right? And the worry and the disagreements, how does that impact physical intimacy of the relationship, right? We've seen the impact with so many immigrants and refugees families that we care for. Imagine the frustration you would feel if you couldn't get a job in the area that you were trained for or experienced in, right? Working in a job day in and day out, it doesn't pay enough. It's not what you want to do. It doesn't give you any satisfaction. That really wears heavy on people. And it's not just the frustration, but after extended time, it's very common for people to struggle with depression, right? And for those that escape depression, it's hard on their moods and their patience levels might be affected. And that spills over to relationships. So I had read an article on the separation rate with refugee families. And it was high, like alarmingly high. And they can't afford to separate. So sometimes they stay together or try to stay together in the same house, and their relationships end up becoming abusive. So I went to see Michelle, who you saw on film today, and I asked her, I told her about the article and asked her, and she immediately teared up. She had so many examples of families that have been part of our community and have broken down, right? Refugee families and other families separating and break down might not seem to fit into the celebration that we promised tonight, but it is, because it's the help of Michelle or Paula from the Neighbor Care Network that we've been able to offer and provide practical help, right, and emotional support, and we've been able to make a difference. So over the past 10 years, I've said repeatedly, we don't want KSM to be defined by a list of programs. We're about helping people. We're here, we will respond to their needs, we'll respond to their struggles. For sure, we'll provide emotional support and friendship and practical help too. The help required is going to be a little bit different for everyone, and that's okay. We're ready, right? Kerr Street Mission doesn't have to have all the answers because there are so many great programs in our community, so many great services in our community. We just need to find the right partner. Whether that partner comes to us to provide the program, or maybe we collaborate to provide the program, like we've done with Lenore and other members, and the Halton District School Board, and Hope Recovery, and the volunteer that does hundreds of tax returns for clients each year, and there are other ways we partner. In some situations, it's about connecting that client into a service and then advocating for it. So over the years, we've learned time and time again that we need to come alongside people in their journey. We need to walk with them. We need to be there to help, right, so that they follow through, so that they don't get discouraged, and so they don't give up. So our CAP debt service is an example. We decided we needed to find a way to make that a reality, because families were coming and they were just overwhelmed with debt. At first, we didn't know what to do, but we knew we had to do something. And then we found out about CAP Canada. People have been given such great hope because there was someone there to listen to them. There was someone interested in helping. Someone kept following up and encouraging. Someone spoke the truth about their situation and they offered them a solution. It's not an easy solution. The CAP Canada accredited staff, they can help negotiate down the debt. They can help develop a payback plan, or the client has to go through the insolvency process. Neither are easy, neither are pleasant. There are some people that drop out. Some have put the process on hold because they need to be ready to go through the process. They need to make tough decisions and they need to do the work. I could give you other examples, but for the sake of time, I'm going to stop. But there's two images I just wanted to touch on quickly. So these are from past live on Kerr. One was Dream Big was from 8 years ago. If you can go to the next slide. Dream Big was from 8 years ago, and Do More Good and Do Big Better was from 6 years ago. So again, I have to say a huge thank you to so many of you. Every time we felt we needed to do something, like to improve and to help you provide, or to respond to a need that we couldn't find a solution for, donors have given generously. The volunteers have signed up to help, or they've been patient with us as we try to manage through the changes. And staff, they've taken on the task with willing hearts, all because of the love and compassion for a neighbor in need. It's so good and a reason to celebrate. You know, I'm not sure everyone knows the story, but 10 years ago, or not quite 10 years ago, I received a forbearance agreement in the mail. I didn't even know what a forbearance agreement was until I opened the package and discovered the bank had pulled their loan and they wanted their $2 million back. They actually gave us 12 days to put the building up for sale. So fast forward to today, and we have best-in-class food market that includes our Choose Fresh program. We have a remarkable Christmas program. You heard it today, the summer camp, the Leaders in Training program are outstanding, and now we have our Kids Club. The support Neighbor Care Network provides, it's unmatched. So even with the challenges of COVID over the last 3 years, our programs and services have improved significantly. Our building has been updated and upgraded. Our staffing has grown considerably. Our volunteer army has grown considerably, as has our expense budget. It's actually doubled as we try to keep up with the growing needs and try to improve. So that $2 million debt that the bank wanted back, it's long gone. And now we have a healthy operating reserve. Right? The recommendation for not-for-profits is to have 6 months of operating budget in reserve. Well, we have that, and we have additional funds in a capital fund. So we're prepared for the replacement of our HVAC units, and unfortunately that's not far off, and eventually our roof. The only way I can explain it is it's a miracle. Prior to that forbearance agreement arriving, we realized that the only way we could survive is if KSM was really making a difference to those in need. We believed that we needed to significantly improve what we did for that to be true. And we worked relentlessly at it, and we're going to continue to do that. We also believed that God would have to stir compassion in people's hearts, and then maybe we would have a chance. So we've taken time to get to know people that have come in need. We've listened to their stories. We've responded. We've made the changes. We've made adjustments. We've stepped into gaps. We've wrestled with other organizations and community members to develop solutions. Right? We've reminded and challenged ourselves to treat people with love and compassion and grace every single day. And I really, truly believe that God has rewarded our efforts. Through it all, He stirred compassion and He's provided what we needed. You know, sometimes the timing of donations, the timing of volunteer help or a new partner, again, no other explanation other than it's a miracle. So a quick story to tell you, and this is remarkable, and what it means for us is remarkable. So just before Christmas, I had a request to meet from a gentleman. I had never met him. We ended up spending 2.5 hours together. He reviewed our financials in detail. We did a tour and I explained our thinking and the evolution of programs and what we were doing to improve. When we got to my office, he said to me, "What would you do if you had some additional funding?" What he wanted to know was, what else did we need to do? How else could we serve people? How could we make a greater difference in their lives? As he talked about his experience and I talked about people, we both ended up teary-eyed. And I have to admit to him, I've been trying not to think about that. There's been so much uncertainty during this COVID period, and really it's the same now. With staffing and expenses, budgets increasing, I didn't even want to think about spending more money. And I didn't want to think about how we could add anything else to our schedule, because our space is maxed out. I also didn't want the wrath of our team when I keep telling them, could we do this, what else could we do? We also need to make sure if we add something, whether it be adding more food or a new program or service, are we going to be able to sustain it? Because we can't add something new and then pull it away in 6 months or a year. So the truth is, it's scary to think about taking on additional costs with so much financial uncertainty. So I did tell them some of my our concerns. I told them about some dreams we had in the past from seeing the struggles that families are dealing with. And these are concerns, these are needs that had really stirred our compassion, stirred our hearts. But we had just sort of pushed them aside. So we talked about a past experience with the Muskoka Woods Leadership Studio. We had sent youth there, and the impact of those experiential learning activities and the discussions that followed made us think that it would be really good, in fact, and critical for us to find a way to make them available to our youth and more youth in our community. You know, again, timing is amazing. The next, 2-3 weeks later, I set an appointment to meet with the Muskoka Woods CEO. And we talked about how can KSM become trained and certified so that we could offer those programs to the greater community. The very next day I came into work and one of the teachers from the high school said they needed to talk to me. And they told me that a student who had graduated 3 years before had come in the day before. And that student told them that they went on a 2-day leadership retreat at Muskoka Woods and said, my life changed from that moment on. That was the turning point. Talking about timing and confirmation for us. The conversation with this gentleman reminded me to have faith and to take action. So I was starting to doubt the compassion, the generosity of the community and God's ability to provide. So to end that story, that fellow had volunteered, met clients, and he had started to have a burden growing on his heart. God stirred his compassion. It was stirred way before he came to see me. Our discussion was just confirmation for him. He ended up making one of the largest donations that anyone has ever made. Amazing. Totally amazing. I consider that donation seed funding. We need to continue to work at securing the funding needed to sustain the programs that we currently have. That's not going to be easy. The economy is challenging for many. Costs are up. Our expense budget's up. We've already lost a couple of big grants. We've already seen a decline. But we can do it. But this donation, this gift, it's going to make it possible for us to respond to needs that we haven't been able to respond to. But what else we need to do? And it's large enough, in my thinking, is that we can allocate a couple of years funding so that we have time to get those programs started and get them established. I told you at the beginning, right? It's an exciting night for us, and there's so many reasons to celebrate. I think back to the conversation that we had just a few months ago, and my answer would be the same. However, some needs have definitely become more top of mind. We have seen such a big increase in the people using our food bank, food market, in the last few months. We have 9 market times scheduled throughout the week. We're desperate for more warehouse space and more refrigeration space. And we need it as soon as possible because we can't get all of the people through in the 9 times that we have without extending overtime and going into other programs. We can't get the food like we used to delivered and put in those refrigerators because they're completely stacked full, so we need to order more. We're wondering, if people keep coming at this rate, what are we going to do? But we do know that we need to respond. So thankfully, we've been working on a solution for many years, or for months and months. But the urgency has increased, and so the work and the cost is going to increase as we make this transition. But we realize that that's what we need to do. You can see a couple ideas here. So there is the new meeting space. We have a partnership in place with Burlington Food Bank, and so that is working towards it. But we look at this picture, and it's kind of like our dining hall, but it's not. But it could be. So when we think about making that food market more accessible, that means where would the other programs meet? What other space do we need to create so that we can keep our programs and add programs? And if we had a space like that, could we create some education and support groups? Could we create some employment and training? There's so many things that we could do, and there's so many things we need to do because we see students who can't get jobs. We see refugees who can't get jobs. And we see, okay, what are these solutions? We see families that are struggling and marriages are breaking down. And we say, what can we do to help? And where are we going to have these meetings? Where are we going to create these support groups? You know, I think about what we need to do. I think about what families need. I think about just the desire to say, we're done. We're just going to maintain and sustain what we do. We're just going to shift into cruise control. But we can't turn people away. We can't just say, sorry, we can't help. Because if we did, we wouldn't be Oakville's mission of hope. And we pride ourselves in doing that. So we're excited about what can be. We're excited about the way God's provided. We are so very thankful for your ongoing and incredible support. And we look forward to what the future is going to hold for us. So now I want to invite down Mike Reinders. So Mike is our board chair. We've already told him he needs to shorten his answers. So come on up, Mike. But I have a few questions to ask him. These are questions that I get asked a lot.
Should I speak with my booming voice?
We have a mic somewhere.
Okay, I can talk like this?
Here it is.
There we go. Thank you.
So Mike, I'm often asked about the board of directors, their experience, their engagement. Can you tell us a little bit about the board and the board's role and involvement in KSM?
Yeah, well, it is a privilege to serve on the board. It's a very good, caring bunch of people, and a very diverse bunch of people as well. When we look for more board members, we look for various skills and expertise for the board. So as a result, we have people with engineering background, legal, finance, accounting, HR, business people, sales people. So a good wide variety there.
Awesome. Now, when you look forward to the future, what would you say from a board perspective is the top priority?
Top priority there, well, we have some priorities, but the board is a governance board. And so their number one priority is for the health, to ensure the health of the organization overall, to assist management too, to assess risks that you've addressed many of these risks today. You know, more needs are coming. What do we do? We're out of space. How do we handle it? One of the things that we've done is 4 years ago, we went through a strategic planning session and we developed strategy going forward. Now we're in the process of starting another strategic planning session, especially with the new things we have before us, as you explained earlier, and we're going to need funds for that as well. Yeah. So, and I guess one of the other aspects of priority is sustainability. It's also succession. You know, we continually need more staff, and we want to make sure that leaders are coming up from within. And what if somebody gets sick? What if somebody leaves? So we have plans in place to support that, so that we can continue to serve as, so that KSM can continue to serve as it is.
Awesome. So, you know, I'm so fortunate to have a great board. They care about me. They care about the staff. Every time staff have come to give an update at the board meeting, and they hear the discussion and they hear the questions, they always feel cared for, and they're always amazed and thankful for the board. So I'm so appreciative. Now, they don't reduce my work because they have lots of great questions. They have lots of concerns, and they've pushed and they've challenged through their questions so that we become more prepared and more thoughtful and more strategic. The opportunities we have, the ideas we have are great, but we need to go ahead and move forward carefully. And so I'm very appreciative of them and all of their help. So as you think back of your time on the board, is there anything particular that you would like to celebrate?
You know, one of the things is unity. What I see on the board is people coming from a whole variety of church denominations. You know, there's not one denomination that serves there. We open every board meeting with prayer and devotion because we need God to give us wisdom and direction to assist management to move forward. And we pray for management for the staff at KSM. So unity, you know, I see so many different partners involved with Kerr Street as well. Food for Life Burlington, Food Bank, and Regional Halton, we're working with them on a whole program as well. The schools that you're partnering with, the CAP, what is it? CAP service. You know, all these things, it's not just KSM, it's partners that are working with us as well. So what I really see is the unity of staff, of donors, of people involved overall with KSM.
Yeah, great. Any last comments for the audience?
Yes, the Leafs won 2-1 tonight. So they're not going to go to the golf course yet. But I'd like to thank the staff and volunteers for their work. You know, we've seen all the needs, and there's a lot of stresses on staff and volunteers to really perform, let's say, and to come up with and serve the needs. And some people come from desperate situations. So I really want to thank them. I also thank the donors for your faithful support. You know, reducing that debt, being able to create a boiler fund, you know, and a few other funds. It's so necessary for to support to deal with the increasing needs that are coming forward. And lastly, I want to thank Gary for your heart and compassion and love. You know, you love the people. And Gary always says, yes, we have programs, but it's about caring. And it says so on the back of our programs too. You've talked about that. It's about caring. And we really want to thank you, Gary, for your leadership. We have to pull. We have to pull the reins on Gary once in a while. You know, he is really good at telling a story, as you saw tonight. And if he didn't have a prompter in front of us, we'd be here till midnight, I think, because he's got a lot of stories to tell. That's why you've all got to come down to Kerr Street Mission and visit. And Gary will give you the tour, and he'll tell you lots of stories. Stories that will bring tears to your eyes, I tell you. They bring tears to my eyes. And so thank you very much, Gary and staff.
All right, great. So as I said, we're so blessed and fortunate. It's a tremendous group of people, and I so appreciate them. So, and if you go to the next slide. So I often get asked two questions, and I'm going to try to go through this quickly because I know we're running over time. But I get asked, is KSM okay? And when I get asked that, it's usually because they want to know if we're doing okay financially. The next question I get asked are what are your greatest funding needs? So tonight is not about raising money. We're not asking you to get your checkbook out. This is about understanding our reality, and it's about being open and transparent, and it's about keeping you up to date. So, are we okay? Yes, we're very okay. We have seen a drop in revenues. We've lost out on significant grants already this year. And that was because we're in a strong financial position. We've also had a few donors ask us, do you still need our support, or do you need the same level of support? So again, when we factor in the economy, the rising costs, the increased needs, the uncertainty, both on the expense side and the ledger side of the revenue, we need the support. And it's definitely a bit concerning, especially when I think about how our budget keeps increasing. However, we are okay, and we will be okay, because we have that reserve fund, and that's why we work to establish it. Worst case scenario, we'll use that reserve and we'll make adjustments and cuts for next year. So considering where we are a few short years ago, I will take this over that anytime. So the next question is, what are your greatest funding needs? This is such an important question, and I think you're going to find this really interesting and informative. So I want to share a quote with you that a donor sent. So there's so much need in our challenged world and so many charities that require support. It's often difficult for donors to decide where or how to give. For our family, support starts in our own community with wonderful organizations like KSM. Thank you. We extend our own giving out from there. The bottom line is that if you're able to give to the causes that are meaningful to your heart, the most important step you can take is to just give. Meaningful to your heart. At the end of the day, that's all I ask. That's all we ask. I try never to have any expectations of anyone because I don't know what your situation is or what else you're involved in. I just ask you to give what's meaningful to you. And I pray and I trust God to stir compassion in your hearts. As I said it before, he is a far better fundraiser than I could ever be. So when you leave tonight, you're going to get a bag, and there's a few things in it, our way of saying thank you. We've outlined 3 of our greatest funding needs as of today, so the details are in the bags. But I'm just going to go through them quickly, and I'm always available to answer questions later. So first, on the top of my list, or our list, is our food market. So more specifically, our Choose Fresh program. So at last calculation, we were looking at a 23% increase over 2022. That's just from January to now. You can see we've had a number of weeks at almost 950 people, and the highest number of people receiving food in a week has hit 993. So just for context, prior to COVID, we were serving 415 people a week. To secure, to store, and to sort that food, enough for 950 people, it's a lot. So while the numbers of families, depending on the market, has increased, so has the number of families registering for our Choose Fresh program. So Choose Fresh program is the program that provides a pack of protein bi-weekly and a bag of produce on the in-between weeks. We purchase the food. It's the only way that we can get a consistent and dependable supply of fresh food, and that's especially true for the proteins. When other food banks saw Choose Fresh, they said, we need to do something like that. And it's actually motivated collaborative talks and change right throughout the entire health and food security sector. So it's pretty cool. But for KSM, it has become a significant budget item. Next slide. So last year, it averaged out 220 families or 220 households per month. This year, the numbers are way up from our forecast. We expect that there's going to be 300 families registered by July, if not in June. So the cost to provide Choose Fresh to just those 80 additional families for 12 months is $65,000. For the next one, Cass. So we need to secure the funding for all the families, but specifically those 65. So, and as much as we feel good about the Choose Fresh program, next one, this is what Choose Fresh provides. So I was thinking about it, and I came into our family services one day and I said, on the protein week, they get the milk, they get the eggs, and they get one serving of halal chicken, halal beef, fish, or a vegan option. That's for a 2-week time period. I went to our staff and said, that's not good enough. If that was us, how would we feel? So we need to supply 300 families with an additional serving. You go to the next one, and the next one. That's gonna cost us an additional $55,000. Remember I said our budget keeps going up, but we need to do it. We need to do it. Imagine having one protein serving for 2 weeks. So I've talked about our collaboration with CAP Canada and the debt service we provide. Over the first 4 months of the year, go to the next one, Cap. The first 4 months of the year, we've seen the number of referrals, the number of discussions, the number of people engaged in the process increase from last year. So our fee to CAP Canada to get their support and to get the expertise of their credit counselors is $1,000 a month. That is a fantastic value for us. All of the other costs to offer that support to our community, so the staffing, the benefits, the organizational support required, the expenses, the training, all of it, we estimate it will total approximately $95,000. In the first year we introduced this program, we had some significant contributions to fund the program up front. For this year, we have no funding committed yet, but we're committed. That service is essential. We can't take it away now, and we need to continue to provide it. Okay, next one. Keep going. Yep, next one. So summer camp. Summer camp is coming quickly. In 2022, we were blessed with the largest summer job grant we've ever had. We received $110,000, which was absolutely fantastic. It helped us cover a significant portion of our staffing costs. This year, that funding has dropped back to the amount we received a number of years ago, $53,500. We're still pleased with that because we understand that supports a lot of programs, and during COVID, so many other programs couldn't run. So the funding required now to cover the remaining staff cost is $122,500. We need to find that funding elsewhere. We also need to find the funding for all the other camp costs, materials, partners, field trips, busing, admission costs. We estimate that, or we budgeted for $74,000. It'll likely be more because prices are going up. Now I can report some terrific news. Our Send a Kid to Camp campaign, as of today, has raised $136,000. Fantastic. So we are well on our way to covering all the costs, but we've got a ways to go. So when you leave, and in the coming days, consider what's meaningful to your heart. What stirs your compassion? That's my prayer. Lord, stir the compassion in all of us, and lead and direct our giving. 3 things I'd ask you to consider. Who can you share the Kerr Street Mission story with? Right? The needs in our community are great, and many don't know it. Still, I meet people every week and they say, I didn't know about Kerr Street Mission, or what does Kerr Street Mission do? Second, multi-year commitments. If we knew what revenue we could expect, it would be much easier for us, and it would take a lot of stress off myself and my staff. The third thing, so my wife and I have chatted about this. When I was looking at our Choose Fresh numbers and I was thinking about and talking about that additional protein, we talked about it, and we decided, because it stirred the compassion in our hearts, that we were going to make an additional monthly donation of $80 to cover the cost for one more family to receive Choose Fresh each month. And I encourage others to consider the same. So, we're at the end of our evening. So thank you for being patient because we've gone over time. A big thank you to the sponsors. They helped us make this evening possible. Thank you to all of you for coming, right, for celebrating with us. Thank you for your patience because we had a lot of slides. Thank you so much for your ongoing support and encouragement. Our volunteers, you guys come so faithfully and are so caring. The donors who give so generously. It really is amazing. And it's inspiring. And on those days when it's really hard and we think about you guys, it gets us going again. And we can't help but feel blessed. Lastly, I just want to say that I and the team, we pray for God's richest blessing for all of you. Thank you so much again.